Okay, now everything is good. Okay, I will start over again. Hello, everybody. I'm Zooty. I play Osu game. I have actually done a interview here. I believe that was last week with Habib talking about nerve control with a bunch of other people. So I'm doing this lecture hall for Osu University, which is improvement-based, like server community hub, where you can come and ask questions, you can learn new things, and hopefully get yourself to play the game better. And the best way to get involved is to join the server, or you can add any questions at the Osu University Twitter account, which is seriously poppin'. You should do both of those things. But yeah, today we are doing this lecture hall inspired by a question that Osu University actually got from Serazu, if I'm saying that right. At Osu University, what is the best way to warm up or practice before a tournament match? So I'll just kind of be going over, this is all going to be kind of personal, like what I do, and maybe if it's something that you'd like to try, you can just, take note of what I do. I have some notes written down regarding not just like solo play, but just a little bit to touch on team play, because I think preparation for that sometimes can be quite different. So, okay, I have my notes here. So I'm just gonna talk about practicing first of all, like as if you're signed up for a tournament, the map pool comes out, your schedule comes out, like how do you practice? How do I practice personally? So I'll always like, even if I don't play the pool, I'll look at the pool early to see if there's any maps that I recognize, because sometimes in situations like that, if it's a map that you really recognize in the map pool, you shouldn't like spend a lot of time practicing for that specific map, to not to develop any mind block or anything like that. I like to go through the pool in its entirety once, like at least once. It doesn't have to matter if I'm playing well or not. It's kind of just so that I can absorb the information and like figure out what's happening in each map, what kind of gimmick there is in each map. So just one time for that, and that would be like sometime mid during the week. Like personally, I don't like to practice map pools as soon as they come out, because if I do that, then I easily over practice and I start developing mind block like really early, especially if it's one of my weaker skill sets, like especially reading. I would like to practice that right before the match so I don't actually forget, or I don't even mind block. It's kind of like trying to find that balance. So after I've gone through the map pool once, I'll kind of just like sleep on it, like let it rest in my mind, being able to absorb all the information from the map pool pretty much. And then I can kind of go into some more specifics on which maps that I think I actually need practice on. It it helps if you start thinking about it like, which maps do I feel really good on? Which maps do I think I can feel really good on with practice? And then which maps I really don't feel good on? Kind of splitting it between that, and that can help you strategize for like your pick order, your ban order. So I'll kind of go into more depth on my second playthrough, and if there's a map that's kind of tricky, I'll probably give it like 2 or 3 plays in one day. Just to like kind of gauge myself to see if I can actually get a good score, because getting a good score in solo doesn't always mean that you're gonna get a good score in match, right? So I don't even have to have an FC run on a map in solo to know that I can FC it in match. It's just about knowing like how you feel on the maps, not that you have to get a really good score on it. So I know there's kind of a difference when it comes to team tournaments in that sense, because usually if you're in a team tournament, they will give you a spreadsheet where you have to record all your scores. And with the way I'm explaining, like personally, I don't like practice the entire map pool many times, so usually I don't, excuse me, put many scores on the sheet. But I make sure to put in my feeling numbers to know like, or to let my team know what I feel really good on in the specific map pool. Okay. I guess I touched on it a little bit, but I'll talk about mind block, especially with like really tricky patterns, and I'll kind of relate it to reading maps for me personally, because like for reading, it's obviously not a skill set that I'm really known for, like AR7, like low AR hidden stuff like that. Um, I I make sure to seriously like not over practice. Like it's very important for me to not over practice those kind of maps because I will develop mind block really quickly. And it's kind of something that you'll start to understand about yourself, like the more tournaments that you play, how easily you get mind blocked, what you get mind blocked on. So I do sometimes make practice diffs, like in preparation for a match, but I make sure to like, not play them too religiously because then I will develop that mind block. Um, okay, I'm gonna go into warm up a little bit because um, the question was about warm up and practice, so I'm gonna touch on the warm ups side a bit. So a lot of the times, so I live like PST time zone, which is I think UTC -7 right now, which means I am way on one side of the earth, and usually when I get matches, they're either really, really like early or really, really late. So I actually prefer playing in the morning personally. I think it's really important to know which times during the day that you play most efficiently at, because if you actually the answer from the OC University Twitter account, I believe it said like, you have to make sure to be well rested before your match, and I really believe in that. So you should try it at least to get like a good night's sleep. Try to wake up like an ample amount of time before your match, even if you're not playing. I think to get your like brain awake, um, you should be awake at least an hour before the match, an hour and a half before the match, 2 hours if really if doable. Personally, in the morning when I wake up, if I have an hour to spare before the match, I will spend 30 minutes staring at the Osu cookie and then 30 minutes actually warming up before the match. Just to let my brain like wake up a little bit. Um so for normally warming up for me, I actually have this rule where I don't allow myself to play more than 2 hours before the match. And obviously that's just personal. You'll learn the limits of your body and your playing. Um because if I play too long, obviously full area, the time is changing, I get hungry, uh, then I start to like not be on my best game at that time. So I usually don't let myself play 2 hours before. And one thing that Azer told us in OWC actually that kind of sticks with me is don't eat an hour before your match, because this is also a personal thing, but for me, I actually do get food coma really easily. So like me digesting will make me feel a lot more groggy and tired. So I also do go by that rule to not eat too soon before your match starts. So making sure your body's healthy before the match, you know, body's healthy, brain's healthy, muscles healthy, set 1 kpp moment, something like that. Um, I have a note. Oh, I have a note about like staying up for matches. So I really don't like playing late matches. Thankfully, because of my time zone, I don't actually have to play matches that are like 11 p.m. or something. Usually they're uh like around 8 or 7 latest for me, but I am a morning person, so that is pretty late for me. So I actually on days like that, if my schedule allows, I will try to sleep in a bit more to make sure that I'm not too tired later on in the day. You know, not do anything too taxing, because if it's like, excuse me, if it's grand finals of a tournament and that's your only match in the day, you should invest like most of your like mental energy into making sure you're prepared for that match later on in the day. So like I can dedicate an entire day to preparing for a match basically if that is like the schedule. And just making sure that I'm eating good and I'm prepared, and also taking a shower because that really freshens up your brain, especially in the morning. Um in terms of warming up and what to play, I kind of always say on stream, like when I warm up, I like to play maps that will exercise both my hands at once, mainly my left hand. So if I find like a nice tech map, I'll actually I like to speed up tech maps, so it's like constant alternating for like a couple minutes at a time. The aim is, you know, really challenging, and I find those a good way to warm up. Before the match, so my high AR rating is like not the best without warm up. So on a day, I'll relate it to the match I just played against Utami last week. I actually spent a lot of time before the match warming up like only my high AR rating and my speed, because I knew that was the thing I lacked the most. But I didn't want to completely embarrass myself, so I spent time to practice that a lot, and that also warms me up very well. But if I'm practicing speed and warming up in that sense, I will give myself like plenty of time. I gave myself like 3 hours to warm up for that match, and actually realistically I think I was a bit tired out at the end, but you know, it is what it is. I had a Corsace match before that as well, so like that time management, something you gotta really take care of. Actually, that day I had Corsace, and I think I didn't eat breakfast, and my food schedule is like easily thrown off by like tournaments or like just work in general. So after Corsace, I had to have a snack, and I just was feeling very nauseous, so it was very sad. But yeah, scheduling and knowing what your body needs just to make sure it's healthy and prepared for like that mental taxing activity is quite important. um oh, okay. I think I went over everything on my notes almost, but uh for preparation in general for a match, if I'm talking about picks and bans, let's consider this from a 1v1 perspective, because like it's kind of the same thing with teams, but you just have to strategize over more people. But yeah, picks and bans. What's important is researching your opponent, because researching your opponent can make you feel a lot more prepared if you have certain picks in the pool that you want to play, and you're like, okay, yeah, for sure, I can definitely win this point. Doing the research on the opponent actually can really help and put your mind at ease, because there are many tournaments where I've played where there are some maps where I just know that I will lose, and in no world would I ever pick it, and in no world would I ever win. Like speed. But all that does is make me want to practice the rest of the maps even harder, because I know that if I'm gonna lose on speed, I better win everything else. Oh my goodness, a follow-up question from Digital Hypno. Follow-up question for what you said earlier. What are some signs that you feel like you don't need to practice a map much before a match? Okay, so I guess I could talk about that for a long time, but with the way the mod slots work, like, you know, Nomad 1 is a jump map, Nomad 2 is a stream map. So over this past year, having played in many tournaments, you start to recognize like the patterns of, you know, whatever is a Nomad 1, whatever is a Nomad 2. So I'm an aim player. I don't know if you guys knew that, but generally any map that has aim in it will be fine for me, and it'll be something that I want to pick. And obviously, like, I'll run through the pool once just to make sure there's no like really random tricky patterns in the maps or something that will throw me off. But a map like a No Mod 1, like I will only play once or twice because, you know, sight read buff in the match. I know I can probably FC. But something that is either has like, I don't want to say RNG. Some maps are RNG, okay? Some like really tricky sections or like a skill set that I'm not too confident in, like reading, like I went through before, or like I don't know, has a really tricky like buzz slider section that's really easy to break on. Like I will practice those more diligently, but generally like I just kind of know at this point, I guess, from playing many tournaments, playing many different maps, like what I will be good on and what I won't be good on. And when you're at this level of gameplay, you should just be good at everything. So there's nothing that I'm bad at anyways. Obviously. Several people are typing. Okay. Other question. Are there any things you tried doing to warm up for matches but that you used to but don't do anymore? Things you do in only certain situations. Like when it's cold in your room. Yeah, so I actually explained this a little bit. I touched on it in my nerve control interview with Habib, but like at night my room gets really hot. So actually, fun fact, I will sometimes leave my door wide open to get cool air in my room before a match and just struggle through it. But generally, in terms of like playing and warming up, I think my warm up routine has always been kind of the same. Like I developed that idea of not playing too early before the match like a long time ago. I actually don't know when I started doing that, but yeah, I always believe if you're pretty much confident and you have a good warm up. I actually don't practice a pool on the day of the match as well. I used to do that, I think, for like more so team tournament things, but I think if you just have confidence in your playstyle and your skill, you actually don't. Well, that's personal, right? Like you can just go into it and have that confidence as long as you're well warmed up, well rested, you eated well, you're feeling good. And some days, you know what? Some days you can't help it. Some days you just don't feel good, and that's fine. You just do your best to play as well as you can, right? And yeah, if anyone has any questions, like I can take now because I think I went over all my points. And I'm gonna drink this milk that's right in front of me. 2%, 2%er. Do you do anything special like stretches before warming up? Since you have to move your whole arm while playing. Okay, that's actually a good question. So I always say this, and some people don't believe me, but like if you massage the like muscles in your forearm, like where like your tendons are, right? You'll see me like actually rubbing them with my pen and shit, like something really hard to like actually stretch those muscles really good. So usually I'll massage my left hand on that side. My right hand really doesn't need that much warm up. Like my right hand is pretty much invincible. Like I can just wake up and FC like I can just wake up and FC Wizard's Tower if I wanted to, but I'm just egoing that map. But generally my left hand needs a lot more warm up than my right hand, so I spend a lot of time with tapping in specific and maps that challenge that to make sure my left hand's like loose enough to perform. And I'm just slowly going through these questions, so bear with me. Does having multiple matches in the same day affect your performance? Yeah, so I've had tournament days that literally have lasted like 10 hours long. And luckily for me, when I'm streaming, I have what I like to call the streaming buff, and I have infinite energy for the entire day, except I forget to eat, so after I end my stream, I feel like shit. But I'm like personally, I'm able and I'm capable of playing Osu like for that long. And I think with the way the play style works, right? Like, you know, SFA or whatever, my play style isn't actually extremely taxing to me. It's kind of just like I'm doing low, what do you call it? Not very straining workout for the entire day. It's just like I'm doing some little activity. I'm doing a little dance all day, and it actually feels good when I get to play many tournaments at once. It's like really challenging, mentally, you know. But definitely, if you're a person that experiences like that exhaustion, you should probably plan your tournaments better. I kind of just go into the weekend being like, oh, I have a tournament right now. Okay, let's go. And if there's 4 of them on the same day, you know what? Great, whatever. I'll play them all and I'll win them all. It's all about that confidence, you know. How do you control nerves mid-match? Oh, that's an awesome question that you should go check out the OSU University YouTube channel and check out all the other interviews that Habib did, and you can check out all of our answers there. Awesome. How often must one practice a pool and how many days before? So, like I kind of said in the beginning, usually I'll practice the first time midweek, like maybe around like a Wednesday. If it's a team tournament and they want to do like a lobby, like, you know, practicing earlier is better, I think, with the team. Because, like I said, you have to plan out everything, right, with everybody. So, but if it's just me, usually like a Wednesday or a Thursday, and if my match is on a Saturday, I'll practice like Wednesday, Friday, or something. But like, yeah, never the day of, because I over practice a lot, or I easily over practice and get mind blocked. So I see people like Bistro MC who puts 20 plays into a map. I just cannot do that. I cannot. But if that's the way you learn, then good for you, and you should know like the best way for yourself to learn. But for me, yeah, I literally only play the map pool like fully one time, and then specific maps 2 or 3 times, like a day or 2 before the match. And I am looking for more questions. Do you think playing on a high refresh rate monitor makes a big difference? No. What a silly question. This is silly. I got 3-digit on a laptop and a chiclet keyboard. Whatever. If you happen to wake up like 20 or 30 minutes before the match, do you prioritize waking up body by showering or getting up on Osu? Yeah, I literally just get on Osu at that point. Like, oh, actually, funny story. When I was doing my interview with Habib last week, whatever that was, about the nerve control, oh, it was on a Friday, and we had everybody coming together, and I was like, oh, Habib, I have a match, like, literally, you know, like, right as soon as this is supposed to end. And he was like, oh, it's okay, you don't need to warm up. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So I finished the interview. I was like, I should probably go. There's 5 minutes. My match is gonna start. So I kind of just got on, and I actually use the warm up to my advantage at that point. Is whatever I'll play in solo, I'll just pick a really long warm up and try to get myself warmed up that way. But if you can, I think you waking up like later, like if you wake up really right before your match, it will definitely dictate your pick order. So like at that point I would go for something easy like a free mod 1 or like a no mod 1, something that's not too fast or something, so I can still warm up while I'm playing. I think that's the thing that affects the most is my pick order. Yeah, I'm looking at questions that are like from like 6 minutes ago, so if you ask one, I'm probably very far up, by the way. Have you had days where you just don't want to play at all, felt burnt out for tournaments? What do you do to get over this, feel better about this? Yeah, no, I've definitely had those days, and I don't know how to say this, but I have female anatomy, so some days the tournament schedule doesn't actually line up very well with my natural schedule. some days I just wake up and I want to forfeit everything. But then I just remember that I'm literally the best player in the world, and I can beat anybody anytime I want. So you just gotta wake up and do your best. And you know what? If you did your best, then you know you did your best. And after that, you can take a week break after suffering a giant loss in NAT, just like me. Just take a little break. But yeah, no, I definitely get that feeling. But breaks are always good. But I do genuinely enjoy tournaments, like overall. So I'm never gonna fully take a break from them. The urge will always come back for me. You ever lose your pen grips when playing long maps? Yeah, I do. I don't know if that relates too much to this lecture hall, but the way my grip is it like doesn't slip up that much. I don't know how to explain it, but you should find a grip that's like more comfortable. You don't have to lose it all the time or experiment with like grip tape and stuff like that. You prefer warming up tapping with long streams or finger control? I prefer finger control. Actually, that's a good question. I guess I always warm up with finger control because my stamina already is really bad. So having like a little burst and then like a little break, I think it's better for me in the long run. But again, that's personal. Do you get scared? Do you get scared facing certain players? Or do you think you could crush anyone you face? I wonder if people think that I actually think I could just crush everybody, because I can, but I do get scared of certain players. I was extremely scared of Takedo because he smacked my ass in YSC, and he almost smacked my ass in NAT. But like in general, if you feel confident on a pool, there's no reason why you shouldn't win, right? Like anything can happen at that point. It's never over till it's over. And me being scared of a player makes me start wondering why I'm scared of them and how I can improve to beat them. In that sense, like it's inspiring almost if I'm scared of somebody. Obviously, because I'm xootynator, so it's all about self-improvement, right? Is start reading map pools considered a good idea, or is it gambling at this point? If you're confident enough in your skills, like sight reading is fine, especially if it's a team tournament. Usually people are just like, oh, you didn't play this map? Okay, well, just watch out for this, this, and this, and this and that. And so I wouldn't recommend it. I usually at least look at the map in the editor, unless it's something that I'm sure that I'll win, like xootynator versus Badu. Oh, I'll just pick DT2. Just same thing with like Fire Rage. I'll just pick this because I know they can't play it. That's the only time where I'd actually genuinely sight read a map. I could just abuse them just a little bit better than me. I'm kind of like fixated to the people that are pinging me also. So if you ping me the question, I'll probably read it. Or if you're reacting, definitely do a little reactage. When you play in teams, do you feel like you have some sort of pressure, even if you're not the best player on the team? I've had that happen to me. Yeah. Um. Actually, no. I think in team tournaments, the times where I've won team tournaments is when I've had the most fun with my team. Like I felt the most personal with my team. So when you have a team like that, it kind of erases a lot of the pressure on you specifically. Like it makes you want to play well, or it makes you want to play better for your team, right? So that's why when I try to captain, I try to make sure like everyone's having a good time and everyone gets to play. Because if everyone wants to play, then we're just gonna play better. But personally, no, I don't have that pressure usually in team tournaments specifically. I just try to make sure I can lift everybody else up. Did you ever think you're gonna reach top 100 at some point? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna be #1 in the world. How do you deal with losses? Okay, yeah, I mean, we can relate that to the tournament talk in general because a loss doesn't mean you're out of the tournament, right? Like losers bracket. So does it affect you going to the next tournament? It does, but like I was saying earlier, I actually touched on it a little bit. Losses actually make me want to improve so that I can overcome whatever opponent has beaten me on that stage. Um, Generally, it actually like if you listen to my nerve control interview with Hibby, you'll kind of understand the way that I think is like always like self improvement, and I want to be better and better. So a loss can only make me want to be better, so that I don't freaking lose next time. And if I lose, it's not the end of the world, right? Like I can always win next time. Yeah, I think I'm caught up on all the questions. I don't know if there's anything specific that I missed. So did you hear that Shigetora Osu was online and played the game yesterday? Oh my goodness, guys! Did you know that you should follow the Osu University Twitter account and join the Osu University Discord so that you can keep up to date with all the lecture halls and everything that's going on in the server? Because the server is awesome and great and super beautiful and wholesome, and you should definitely join. And thank you Habib for actually making the server very beautiful, and I'm glad to see it grow because it's looking really good, and I'm excited for all the stuff that's gonna happen. Okay, let's ask some real questions. You guys don't just want me to run away, right? I could just leave. Does full area make you better at tournaments? Yes. Good question. I don't know how long I'm meant to stay here, anyways. Because I know these aren't supposed to be as long as the interviews, but you know we're chilling. Okay. Okay, no problem, Habib. Okay, I mean, there's two good questions here, so I think I'll just take these two questions and I'll be good to go. Okay, three? Okay. Yeah, three. Okay. I'll take these three. Jump is gonna be the last question. Okay. How do you clear your head right before a match starts? Have you ever started overthinking right before a game? Yeah, so, well, actually, I can kind of relate that to the next question. If you're down in a match, how do you reset your mental? It's kind of like the same thing. So, I always pick a banger for a warm up. You know, just get me psyched in the mood, get my teammate happy, or my opponent. You know, we're vibing in the lobby. I do overthink. Usually, I overthink the night before. Like I'm going to bed and I'm like, holy shit, I'm gonna lose so hard tomorrow. And then I go into the match usually and I feel better because, like I said earlier, like anything can happen. Like they could be having an off day, you could be having an off day. They could drop 200k on a map that they usually FC every time. Like anything could literally happen. So the most important thing that I tell myself is always just to like literally play your best. And if you play your best, like what's the worst that can happen? It's all about having that progressive mindset in a sense. Is there anything you wish you could go back and tell yourself when you first started playing tournaments? Yeah. No. Yeah. Okay. Well, my tournament history was kind of not very serious until OWC. OWC was kind of like my first real tournament, I guess. Like, just be confident, I guess. Like, I've always been confident in solo, I guess, but I actually really thought I wasn't gonna get to OWC last year, and I'm super glad that I did because I probably wouldn't have been playing a lot of the tournaments that I did this year. So as long as you have confidence and you're believing in yourself that you can improve, like you can improve and you will improve, even if it's slow. Things will go good. Do you leave leaderboards on or off during matches? I have them off, but I never had them covered with the key overlay. I can see during a break. I can see. I do count CDC as a real tournament, but like I it was like a bunch of friends playing the tournament, but we won. Hey, so I don't know if I can't remember actually if I thought of it as competitively as I would um like NAT for example. Like I strategized for that a lot, but I felt like when we were playing CDC, it was just rather than fun. Oh, what is your thought process when you play a map during a match? Uh, usually I never think ever, like ever. So, uh, I'm kind of the person that thinks if I break in like the first 30 seconds of the map, that I've already lost. And like I said, another plug, we should totally check out the interview that I did with Habib because I talked about stuff like that in matches. But every time I miss, I just think that like if I do my best for the rest of the map, like I could still win because when the leaderboard's off, you'll never know, right? Some like that. In a specific map, I don't usually think too much. Is it stupid to drag on full area? No, I think I'm one of the only people that hovers. The majority of people actually drag on full area. How do I stop pain in your shoulder? Stop it. No, I don't feel like I need to warm up different skill sets before a match because if both my hands just feel warm enough, um, then I should be able to do anything that I could normally do on any required day, any specific time, right? Except it's like high AR reading. Uh, just, no problem, Habib. Sorry. I don't get more nervous if the tournament I'm playing in is badged or no. And in my eyes, every tournament is unbadged because anything can happen. And the tournament could just totally get unbadged. And also, when you're playing in a tournament, you're literally playing for like crumbs. Like, I could care less if there was a badge in my profile. Like, badges are cool, but like, you don't gain anything. Oh. Uh, if you feel like you didn't play a map well during a tournament, how do I move on instead of beating myself up over it? Oh, that's a good question because it's not something that I usually go through. Like, I know that I have my bad runs on a map and I should have done better, but like, if the opponent pretty much like beasted on me during the map, like, props to them. And I'm never gonna beat personally, I'm never gonna beat myself up over a loss. Even if I knew I could win, like, I'd feel bad, but I wouldn't like beat myself up over it because stuff happens. Just don't be mean to yourself. You should never be mean to yourself. You're a beautiful person and you're probably the best of the game and you just don't know it yet. So, something like that. Or maybe you do know it and it just has yet to flourish. That's a good way to think about it. How to stay motivated when you go against someone who you lost to multiple times. Okay, so I guess I'll relate that to me versus Taquito. Taquito is basically me, but with speed and better reading. So in reality, I lose to him every time. But uh, if you believe that you can win and you have practiced the pull and you know that there are picks that you can definitely win, and well, not picks that you definitely know you can win, but picks that you can definitely do well on, then you just gotta keep your head up. And if you lose, and then it just makes you want to beat them next time. uh okay, my throat is like giving out a bit, so yeah, I do have off days when I stream. You should never force yourself to stream. Like, uh, one of the best pieces of advice I give myself, just in general, is um, I forgot what I was gonna say. But if you have fun streaming, you're gonna want to stream more. So you might as well just stream when you're having fun. Don't force yourself. Yeah. What about stress? Oh, just don't get stressed. Forehead. Streaming was my stress reliever. So if you can find something that's like a stress reliever for you and it makes you happy, you should go ahead and do it. Same thing with Osu. Osu's still my stress reliever after all this time of playing and it giving me stress. You know. You can ask it, but I think I will wrap up because my throat is dying, and I will try to answer when I finish up everything. But it was a pleasure to talk to you all, and I just want to say one more time, you should definitely join the OC University Discord. Uh, subscribe to the Twitch channel and the YouTube, and follow them on Twitter. And if you want to ask any other questions or you're curious about anything else, you can add them on Twitter as well, and they'll do their best to answer your question or set up a lecture hall for you. Which is, I'm doing the very first lecture hall based off of a question that they got off the Twitter. But it was amazing talking to you guys, and I hope that I answered any questions. And I appreciate you all, and I hope you have a beautiful day. And yeah. If you guys want to ask me, I'll hang around in the thread a little bit, and I can answer a couple of things here and there. But yeah, thank you so much, Habib, too, for setting this up. And yeah, I'll see you all later.